Hey everybody, my name is Aaron and I'm doing a three-part video series on stress management. It's a three-video series on stress at home, stress at work, and stress with finances. So I'm glad you guys are watching this video. I know we'll give you some value. And I'm going to start with just letting you know, again, my name is Aaron and I got my master's degree in social work. And I've been a counselor for over 10 years. And I figured I've probably learned some things over the 10 years of working with people about stress. For 5 years, I was a substance abuse counselor. Well, 3 years was a substance abuse counselor. And then for the past 6 to 7 years, I've been working as a coach / counselor and heard a lot of different situations from people about their stressors and figuring out how to reduce stress. So I thought, why don't I get on and share just a couple of tips that I can share with you about managing stress and reducing it. One stat that I really like is that 60% of people are trying to figure out how to reduce their stress. So that's over 50. That's great. I'm not sure what the other 40% are doing. I guess they're just like, I hope it goes away. So I don't know how good that will work, but today you're watching this video. I'm hoping that you're here because you want to get your stress lowered, and I've got some great tips for you. The top 5 triggers for stress, like having stress in our lives, are family life, social life, work, finances, and our health. So those 5 are the triggers. Those are the top 5 triggers of stress in our lives. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it embodies a lot of different aspects. But truly, when you look at your life experience, you're probably going to fit in one of those 5, and that's why they're the top 5. So today, now the other two videos that I'm going to share are going to be about your work, stress at work or on the job, and the other one is stress with finances. So, but today, it's stress at home. I'm going to start with a story that happened just this past week. I had the opportunity to give a talk or like give a speech in front of like over 100 people this past week. And I had this break of time, this window of time that I could come home and just kind of get myself prepared for that experience. And I was like, oh yes, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to go over this. I'm going to review that. And I thought it's going to be great. But what I forgot is that there are relationships at home. And what ended up happening is we did some tidying up last weekend. And we had this little shelf that is missing a leg, and so we're like, well, we'll just throw it away. So I carried it down the stairs and I put it in the front room. Well, my little daughter, my youngest daughter, she found it and she liked kind of the height of it. And we have this laptop that doesn't work that she just likes to like open up and type on and stuff. And she wanted to use it to play. And when I got home, after a few minutes, she asked, hey, can you carry this up to my room so I can play with it? And I said, no, I'm not going to carry it up there. And I didn't say it that way, but I said something like, no, it's garbage. We're going to throw it away. Well, she didn't like that. She started to say, I want it up in my room right now. And then it just escalated, and the stress just went up. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, great. I've got this speech I'm going to be giving, and I'm going to do it in front of 100 people or more. And I'm going to screw up, and I started getting stressed, and I did not handle it well. In fact, my 6-year-old went up to her room because that's where we send them for a timeout when things get a little out of control. And she was really upset. Like, she started kicking the door, and she started just screaming. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot handle this. Like, seriously, it was so much stress. And I definitely didn't feel like in that moment I was reducing the stress. Actually, I was escalating it. And so I just want to share some things today to get your stress lowered, and some things that I do to practice in those moments to calm down, get perspective, because I still did go give the speech, and I actually did receive an idea to help her calm down because of things that I've been doing behind the scenes. And that idea was, she was in our closet. That's where she had made her way. And I closed the closet doors and I kneeled down next to her and I just started saying, "How can I help you?" And I got another idea to ask her, "Do you want a hug?" And she says, "Yes, I want you to hug me and rub my back when I get mad." And that's so much easier, you guys. It's so much easier to do that instead of what we did. It took like 45 minutes for her to go through that whole little ordeal. And for me, I'm just like, really? It was just carrying a shelf up the stairs, So where is my mind at? And a lot of times that's what stress has to do with, is where are our minds at? The reason I didn't want to take it up the stairs is because I thought, well, I already brought it down. I got to drag it back upstairs now, and we're just going to throw it away anyway. But to her, she just wanted something to put her little toys on. So that's something that I thought was interesting that happened just recently. A couple of statistics. I think we all know that stress has negative impacts on our health. I mean, there's no doubt. So a couple of statistics. 47% of people polled are concerned about the amount of stress that they have. Okay? Another stat is 71% of people react emotionally. So that's what happened this past week. Emotions were going on, and that was the reaction. 77% react physically. Looking at the situation there with my daughter, I was reacting emotionally. She was reacting physically. And that makes sense because she's a child. So she doesn't really know how to communicate through her voice when she's frustrated or stressed about something. So she's going to use physical ways to show that she's stressed or upset. So 77% have physical reactions. And you see this all the time. Like, you'll see people slam doors. You'll see them throw something. But there's a physical reaction to the stress. 77% have that physical reaction. And this is the statistic that's like, I got to get on and share something about this. And the statistic is 80%. 80% of people report that their stress either increased or stayed the same over the past year. So in a year's time, either it went up or it stayed the same. 80% of people. That just kind of took me back a little bit, thinking about what that would mean to their health and to their life experience, like having purpose. And because we know this, like when you're stressed, you're not able to focus on the joys of life. When I'm stressed, I'm usually focused on what I don't have, what I need to get. So kind of like scarcity, like there's not enough. And that doesn't really serve me or others. And I start to worry, and then I start to think that nothing is going to work out very well, and it just kind of builds and builds. So 80% said that. So I wanted to get on and share 3 tips, okay? Number 1, one thing that you can do to reduce stress in your home is to slim down your schedule. Now, I know you want to take on everything out there that you're asked to do. Hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Yes, 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 yes. We have got to learn how to say no. And the way that you do that, a couple weeks ago, I had plans to go out with my family to a sporting event. And I got a call the night before from a friend of mine in the community saying, hey, I'm wondering if you're available to come and do like a presentation or share something. I was able to say no because I focus on what my purpose is in life. And one way that I've been able to do that is to realize that I'm a father first and a husband first. That is my first responsibility. I already made the plans. And so it was an easy decision to say no. Now in the past, I didn't really understand or know who I really was. And so by just understanding more like, what do I care about most in life? It's being with my family. So I'm going to politely decline, but thank you for the opportunity. So that's just slimming down your schedule, saying no. Learning to prioritize is an awesome skill that you can develop. So slim down your schedule. Number 2, get organized. Get organized. One thing that I do is I create a list every day of things that I want to do to keep order in my life and to stay organized. But at home, it's been awesome. So I don't put on my list like every project that I need to take care of that day. I may pick one thing like put the hose away for the winter or take down the Christmas lights. I don't put like 8 things on there because that would just overwhelm my mind. So getting organized, just creating a home to-do list. And then when you write it down and you can cross it off, it's really awesome to see that, hey, I'm making progress. I can see that I'm crossing these off, I'm getting stuff done. And then you're going to notice that you're going to start putting more on the list because you're capable to do more. Like you're seeing that it's looking better, the home's looking more tidy. And I'm a firm believer that how your house looks and feels is an indication of where your mind is at. I'm a firm believer in that. So get organized. Another thing that we do to get organized is I have like systems in place to reduce stress. Like I know where my keys go. I know where my ring goes. I know where my wallet goes. They're always in the same place. So that when something comes up that may be spontaneous, I'm not like, where did I put those? Where did I put them? We had this happen recently with one of my daughters. She needed her dance shoes and we didn't know where they were. We ask her all the time, hey, put your shoes away. When she gets home, put your shoes away. But I learned the system that I've adapted to and I've created is when she gets home from dance now, I'll say, okay, put your shoes away. And if I go up in her room and they're not put away, then I just put them somewhere where I know they're at because I'm the one who feels the stress. She doesn't feel the stress. I do for her being late, not being able to have the right shoes she needs for dance. And then when that's happening, guess what happens with that stress? I start saying to her, why didn't you put your shoes away? I asked you how many times? How many times? And then there's all this conflict and it creates this disharmony. And so a way to reduce stress there is just have systems in place about getting organized. So it's a great way where you always know what's at. And then number 3, make time for fun. This comes up a lot with my kids. One thing I like to is go to the gym and I'll be working on something. I'll be like, can you take us to the gym? And I'll be like, I'm working on this right now. But I think one thing that we can get better at is like realizing that we need to have more fun in life, right? Like we need to play more. And we grew up thinking that, you can't go play till your chores are done. We even say that to our kids right now. You can't play till your chores are done, or you can't play Xbox till your chores are done, but we have different things. But as adults, we get caught up in thinking that we got to make sure all our work's done and then we can go play. So we've carried that on to adulthood. I think we need to switch that around and be like, let's go play first and then we can work. Because when you have more fun in your life is just better. There's more pleasure, there's more interest. At least that's what I've noticed, is that those things happen a lot more for me. So making time for fun is the 3rd tip. Okay? So schedule it in. I hear this a lot as a coach and as a mentor, is that people aren't scheduling and they think, I should just be able to do it. Like, I should just be able to do it. Like, how weak am I if I can't just do these things? But we really need to take this seriously, like schedule it in. When you're sitting in front of a computer all day at work or whatever it is that you do for work, take some time to get away and listen to some music you like, or do some stretching, or do some breathing. Something that's just fun and gets you away from some of that stuff to reduce your stress. Now, we're talking about stress at home. So, at home, be playful with your kids or be playful with your spouse. Do different things together just to make things fun. We definitely get away from that as adults. So, number 1, slim down your schedule. Number 2, get organized. And number 3, make time for fun. Those are the 3 tips I would give to reduce stress at home. Now, going forward, choose one, just one. Choose one of these tips and take action. Anytime that you take action, it's going to put something out into the universe that's a good thing. You're going to learn some things, and you're going to notice that your stress is going to go down. So, to honor the time that you put into watching this video, choose one of those 3 things and really go for it. Take action on it. And then come back and visit me for the second video that I'm going to share, which is going to be on stress on the job or stress at work. We got to talk about this. I mean, this is happening a lot where people are going into work and they're not saying how they really feel. They're not feeling like they have a voice. And then they come home with all this built up stress, and then it just goes over all the family. So we've got to do better figuring out how to manage the stress at work. So start out by choosing one of these 3 tips, and then join me for the next video, which will be stress at work and how to reduce that. So I appreciate you guys for being here, for listening in. I hope you guys choose one of these and go for it, and I will see you on the next video.